So I had to really debate with myself whether or not I wanted to actually like start doing this as like a story time series, I guess, which for a little while was a trendy meme, a little goof, a gaff, if you will, of people over exaggerating shit that's happened to them. I'm gonna try not to do that. I just want to tell stories that because when I do stand up, right? Because once again, if you watch the first video, if you watch the little beginning part there, I've been doing stand up for a while now, and this is kind of meant to fill that void. When I was doing it, I was really big on telling crazy stories that have happened to me because there's a lot of like really weird shit that just happens to me, and I'm trying to think of them. A lot of them are like really like I guess they would be controversial to tell, so I don't really want to. I want to start off with anything too heavy, but I'd like to just start this maybe like tell a story about just some people that I've met maybe, and then the one that I think is probably the tamest, and which is funny, but the one I think is probably the tamest, but also still pretty funny, is the time recently, about a year ago, that a homeless man asked me to get him some puss. That's what I think that's a great story, and I like it a lot. Now, basically, what had happened here. All right, I know that that's a lot to take in. You're like homeless guy asking you for coochie. What the hell is that, dude? I know it's a fucking weird premise for a story. What had happened? The reason that I was interacting with this man and this happened to occur. I was living in a dorm last year, and I was riding a bus. I got groceries from the local Wally World, local Walmart, right? And I'm fucking getting on the bus, going to my dorm, carrying these groceries. I have like an absurd amount of groceries in my hand. Now I'm expecting that when I get on this bus, there's going to be places for me to put my groceries down, like possibly right in front of my seat, maybe, and then I won't have to carry it. That is not what happened. I had my hands completely full, like enough to where, like, when your mom comes home with groceries and you want to like fucking take all of them out in one go. So like you just grab them all up in one hands, and then like the plastic's pulling on your fingers, so it feels like you're losing circulation. It was like that. I had like a crazy amount of bags, and I get on the bus, and when I do, I didn't know that the 105 highway um, bus stop at 8 o'clock apparently is completely packed full of people, like actual tuna can type stuff. There was barely any place for me to stand, let alone hold groceries. So I couldn't even hold on to like one of the straps above the head or like a pole or something to like balance myself. So all the way to my bus stop where I'm gonna get off from my dorm, uh, I'm basically doing a balancing act, trying to like hold these groceries, and when he goes around a curve, I'm trying not to fall on people. So I'm like surfing while he's driving, and that was a very, very stressful thing for me. Also, my hands are starting to hurt a lot. I fell in a dude's lap, and I fell on his girlfriend as well. 2 times, and they were really polite about it, but it was very uncomfortable for me, and everyone was looking at me because they're like, who is this idiot that's like falling on people with his groceries? So upsetting. My hands are hurting. I need to get off this bus. As soon as I can, I do. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get off, set these groceries down for a little bit, let my fingers like rejuvenate, and then I'll try and like make the march up this hill, probably like 200, 300 yards away to my dorm. That was the goal, right? So I get off, go to this bus stop, and I put my groceries down. Now here's a little bit of information. All right, the university that I go to, there is a large homeless population. There is, and most of them, hang out at bus stops. Like, and they'll hang out at the Walmart bus stop and in the bus stop that I just stopped at, which is like pretty close to my dorm. Why? Because those bus stops have these big shelters over them. That's it. And it rains a lot. There's a lot of bad weather in Boone. It's a shelter, so they hang out there. So I get off. There's this guy here, and now I'm just kind of trying to ignore him. He's like a little bit taller than me, just like a average looking dude, bald, wearing like really dirty clothing, and just like clearly an older man that's like probably a homeless guy. And so I get off, put my stuff down, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna wait a minute for my fingers to get better. And my one of my bags of ramen, I know, right? gotta be ramen. I'm a college student. Falls over and like spills out, and this dude, he immediately hops up. Like my food breaks out, he just like jumps up in the air and he runs over to it and he just like starts grabbing my food. Now me, I think I'm like, am I gonna have to am I gonna have to fight this guy? He's gonna steal my fucking ramen. Nobody's taking that from me. That cost me like 99 cents a pack, alright? So I get up and I'm like about to get confrontational with this dude, but no, he just puts it all back in the bag, picks it up and hands it to me. And I was like, wow, that was really sweet actually. And he hands me my bag back and I take it and I go, thanks, man. And then like he reaches out his hand to shake my hand. I shake his hand. Firm handshake. Seems like a swell dude. He says, my name's Aaron. And I was like, I'm Nathan. And I was like, hell yeah, this is cool. And so we started talking. Just like shared a few, like conversational piece, just small talk type shit. He's like, where do you live? I'm like, I live at one of the dorms up there. And he's like, oh, that's cool and everything. What you going here for? All that type of shit. And I told him my major, all that type of stuff. And then the first thing, he didn't tell me anything about himself, first of all. And the first thing that he asked me, he pulls me in close. He just kind of like, he gets a little close to me, and he's like, hey man, I got a question to ask you. And I was like, sure. He felt a little uncomfortable. He's like, you know how to get some pussy around here? And I was just like, nope, not exactly an expert on that, sir. I'm kind of a fucking loser. And then he was just like, man, it's been so long since I've had any, and you look like the type of guy that can give me some puss. And I was like, sorry, bro, can't do it for you. And then like immediately after this, he completely shifted from this quiet dude who was just sitting at the bus stop, which was what he was originally. And it's like, now that I've talked to him, he's like, oh, I'm gonna come out of my shell. And then like girls were passing by and he's just like catcalling them and shit, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? And he just like keeps on with that. And I was like, all right, man, I'm gonna go. And so I just like start walking off uncomfortably, and then he just like yelled at me as I was walking away. He's like, all right, man, well, if you ever find a place to give me some, you holler at me. And I was like, oh, for sure, as I'm just like walking away, blood circulation seeping from my fingers. And yeah, that's the story. There's a lot more shit like that. Like that shit just happens all the time up there. Like at the university that I go to, there's a lot of really interesting characters, like Aaron, the homeless guy who hasn't had any in a real fucking long time, and felt it necessary to ask my fucking ugly nerdy ass for some cooch, which is just like, I think just, which I just think is absurd. So yeah, that's the story. It's not a very good one, but it's not the best one. And I just felt like that would be a good thing to start off with if I'm gonna just record stories that I've told. Um, yeah, I think that's it. I don't have anything else to say about that. So hope you enjoyed this story. I know, not really a punchline to it or anything. It's just it's literally just like a what do they call it? A stream of consciousness type video. I'm telling you, this is exactly what happened. I wasn't putting any exaggerations on it. Here's the story. This is the source material. Then I'll maybe manipulate this into like throw some punchlines in there, and then that would be uh that would be something that I would perform. But this is just shit that's happened to me. Where it's just I have this just homeless man, like, he seemed like such a sweet guy too. He really did. And then he started doing that shit and I was just like, oh wow, that's really uncomfortable. But anyways, I'm kind of rambling at this point. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, like, comment, and subscribe. You know the drill. Everybody tells you to do it. Or whatever my outro is. I'll see you in the next one.